Hello, welcome back to my channel, Soupy 7 Slots Plus. This is part 2 of 3 of Gabapentin. I'm going to reiterate the spiel with my doctor, how I talked to my doctor, and my doctor said that she really wanted me to continue the gabapentin after, begging her, basically saying, I need to get off this. I'm going crazy on this stuff. That she finally agreed, and that we were going to wean myself off of it slowly. So, but then when I tried to stop the gabapentin cold turkey, I started having anxiety, rapid heart rate, sweating, hallucinating, hearing voices, blurred vision, numbness in my hands and feet. I actually had to call my son to come sit with me because I was so anxious. I thought that I was going to die because my husband and my other son were gone and I was by myself, and I was so fearful that he did come sit with me to make sure that I was okay. And that was pretty scary for me. So then I decided that what I was going to do is I was going to try and when my son came to stay with me, actually, I ended up calling my doctor, and my doctor told me to go ahead and take a gabapentin right then, and then to slowly wean myself down to like where I was taking one a week or whatever. It took longer than a couple weeks to get off this stuff. It took me almost 6 weeks to get off of it. But so when after I talked to her, and we were trying to wean myself off of the gabapentin, I had what I call a psychotic break. I woke up one morning and I was weeping and weeping and weeping. Couldn't stop crying. I didn't know why. It was like my anxiety was through the roof. And so I decided I was going to call the vice nurse and talk to the vice nurse about my symptoms. I just couldn't stop crying. I was having anxiety. I don't know what was wrong with me. I did. A couple weeks before that I had COVID, but I was all better. I don't know if the COVID had anything to do with it. I doubt it. So then what I decided, I called the vice nurse, and the vice nurse told me that a doctor would call me in 30 minutes. And that if the doctor did not call me in 30 minutes, to call back. So I waited like an hour, no call, so I called back. And she said, well, we're going to do the same thing. The doctor is going to call you back. After the fourth time, we realized that but the calls were not coming through to my phone. The doctors were attempting to call me, but for some reason it wasn't connected through my phone. So I had to use my husband's phone to get the call. Finally, 4 hours later, I got a hold of a doctor, and he instructed me to go into the emergency room for evaluation. So I had my son drive me in. And when I got there and I told them what was going on, my blood pressure was through the roof. I think it was like 190 over 110 or something like that. And I was just like, I felt psychotic. I felt like I just not myself. And I told them how I've been trying to wean off of the gabapentin. And of course the doctor said, well, why? Because it's poison. So I'm trying to tell you it's poison. And so then they ended up putting me on a psych hold for 9 hours. So I was stuck there in their green scrubs, in a room where I couldn't go out unless I asked. If I had to go to the bathroom, I had to ask somebody to walk me, and I had to leave the door open if I went to the bathroom. And finally, they talked to my son, and my son, said he would to make sure that I was safe, and so I was able to go home after about 9 hours. After that incident, I was really groggy for like God, not like a week. I want to say, like, I wasn't myself. And finally I started getting back to myself. So then I decided that I was going to try and wean myself off the gabapentin. So what I did was I lowered the dose by 800 milligrams a week until I got to 0. Some weeks I would go down, like say at 3,200 is what I was taking. So then I cut it down to 24. And some weeks were bad where I needed that extra kick from the gabapentin, so I'd have to take one, I'd cut it in half, and I'd take a half of an 800, so I'd take 400 milligrams, and that would get me through. And then the next week was a little bit easier, and the next week was a little bit easier, until finally I was able to say, I don't need gabapentin anymore. And I've been off gabapentin for a while now. I can't tell you how long. It's been probably a couple years, and I feel good, except for now I have this chronic back pain issue that's not being addressed. It's I am, talking to my doctor that I need something for my pain. She tells me to take ibuprofen, and I do that, take the Tylenol, and she did order me some Percocet, but it has to last 30 days. So if I get into a bad situation where I need to take it in more than once a day, I'm screwed. Because then I'm going to run out. And then if I ask her for more, she thinks I'm a drug seeker. And then all she has to do is look at my MRI, look at my x-rays. You can see that I have a bad back. So, anyway, I wanted to touch bases with you to let you know that my head is clear, and that I feel much better now that I'm off of it. But I'm going to go into more detail in the third part of this, about what it was like once I got off of it, and how things changed, not just for me, but for my whole family. So if you like this video, and you want to hear more, please like and follow. Give me a thumbs up, okay? And thank you for watching.